What's up and welcome back to the Scuffed Ass Podcast for episode number 283. We're totally recording this in a different day. I'm definitely not wearing the exact same thing 2 weeks in a row. Totally different days, different clothes, different months, different years. This is new. Right?
The only thing that's new is I got sunflower seeds now.
Yeah, because he just took a shit.
I'm sure the world wanted to know that.
Well, I had to know. You couldn't just say, I'll be right back. You had to say, I gotta go take a shit. So, yeah, the world wanted to know.
Well,
so,
there you go, world.
You talked about... So, first thing. I have... You know, Bachans, the, like, different barbecue sauces? Yeah. There's a Japanese barbecue sauce that they make that is incredible, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. I'll send you a picture of it later. For those of you listening, you never get to know exactly which one it is. You'll just be guessing the rest of your lives. That's good. That's good. So I have actual things I wanted to talk about, but Wonder was just talking about how one of our friends thinks he's going to get a tattoo.
Thinks that he's going to get me to have get a tattoo.
Oh, well, that's not the words you said to me at all. You literally just said he thinks I'm going to get a tattoo. And that was it.
Yeah.
So that's a new sentence. I'm learning this at the same time.
He thinks he's going to force me to get one.
You should get one. They're great. I love them. If you couldn't tell, I need more.
I know.
I am a little poor though. There have been multiple times already this year where I've considered, do I really need food this week? Like, do I really gotta eat? You gotta, you know. I want to get more tattoos. But the tattoo that I think you should get.
This is the one. This is probably my favorite one he's come up with so far.
Move it to your left, I think. Just slightly. Yeah. Perfect. There you go. I still think that that's AI generated. It might not be. I can't see the flag well enough to know, but yeah, I think they've gotten a good view. You're good. I can't fully tell. It feels like it might be, but that's just, I can't get a good enough view.
It could be. I don't know.
That's too much tattoo for you and your first tattoo. The one I'm about to recommend is way worse, though.
Of course.
But it also isn't, because it would take zero time. When you get married in the future.
Mm-hmm. June 13th of next year, to be exact.
Why the fuck do you already have that planned?
I don't know.
Does she already know everything then? Because you've been trying to keep this weekend a secret. She can't hear me, so I can say the things. Right. You have to be smarter. Okay, yeah. So you already know what day the wedding's going to be, but she doesn't know you're proposing. How the fuck that work?
She knows that I have. She thinks it's in August, though, so.
I feel like you're doing this all wrong. You gotta go the Chandler from Friends route and like convince her that you are not one for marriage and make her really upset and then propose right after she has a complete breakdown over that. That's how you do it at this point. Since you've almost ruined it, you have to really ruin it and then make it really better really quick.
Fuck that. I want to get married for the tax breaks, man.
Hey, I've made that joke with all of my friends for years.
Let's get married for the tax break.
Yeah, dude. But no. So you actually have to like work. So are you gonna have your own ring?
Yeah.
Are you ever gonna wear it?
Yeah.
You're gonna lose a finger.
No, I'll wear a rubber ring for work.
You know what you could do instead?
Get a tattoo.
Yep.
Like my brother did.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, like that one, I feel like is easy to like make sense, even if you're not a big tattoo person, because like you already committed the whole, rest of my days thing. So this is just that. Like that one seems simple. Other than you're not gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Well,
I can tell you.
My other thing about it is, I don't know why, but like when he first had it done, it was super cool. But I think he's going on like 4 or 5 years now since he had it done, and it's like super faded. Yeah,
yep. Because your hands,
it's on a hand.
Yep, your hands shed skin in
right
way faster.
The other part about it is, like, if you're at any kind of distance, you cannot see it that well. So my whole purpose of wearing a ring in public is so that people know that I am taken.
So get a bigger tattoo.
Not that I have to worry about it. I'm pretty fugly, so I don't think I have to really worry about anybody hitting on me.
Get a bigger tattoo then. Like, make it a bigger area of your finger.
That's not the point. The thing about a ring is it actually stands on your finger. Like, you can see it from a distance. Like, tattoo is flat and flush with your hand. So, like, if he holds his hand out like this or something like that, you can't see.
I guess.
People can overlook a tattoo a lot easier than just wearing a ring.
Okay, so here's my new idea for your tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Right on your forehead, just "I'm married." Thoughts?
There you go. Yeah. That'll do it. I'm already hired at my job I'll probably be at for the rest of my life. So.
Yeah, you're good.
They can't fire me.
I'm sorry. I had to.
I hate you.
You can't overlook that, though. Be really tough if you end up divorced.
Right.
Because, like, a thing on your hand, you can cover that up really easily. Or not. Like, whatever you want to do. Right on the forehead. I don't know what you do with that. You got to get married quick.
Just wear a beanie.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah, you never get to not wear a hat.
I'd be like the one of the, like, Ed and Eddie, the ones that wears the beanie all the time.
Why are you wearing a beanie in the pool? Don't ask questions.
I'm actually bald under here, and I don't want a sunburn.
There you go. Excuses. Good excuses. Good. Yeah. So that's a no on the tattoo then?
No.
That's crazy.
I didn't want to get a tattoo in the first place, so.
I know. My thing is,
not a big fan of needles.
I can't wear rings. They freak me the fuck out.
Really?
Yeah, every time I put one on, I'm just suddenly, like, my anxiety spikes through the roof for some reason. I do not like them. They freak me out.
That's
Can't
weird.
do it. So if I get married, I am getting a tattoo. But hey, not a problem for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I really love gold rings.
Fair.
And there's a few gold rings that Ashman and I have looked at that we really like.
If I was going to get one, there's this company. If I was going to get one, I can't get one because of reasons that aren't just I'm poor. There's this company called Thorum that makes really fucking cool rings. They are, I think you can get some in gold, but they do really weird things because they put like a ring inside the ring of different things.
Mm-hmm.
You can get some, so there's like different things. You can get some that are like tungsten, whiskey barrel, wooden rings. You can get them that are made out of antler, but you can also get some where this inner ring is like made out of meteorite. So
that is exactly what I was about to mention.
Yep. So meteorite, diamond, or apparently now dinosaur bone.
Wow.
You can just wear a ring with the fucking T-Rex bone in it. That's sick as hell. There's no way. There is. That's crazy. There's one that's T-Rex bone and meteorite. I don't know how much the rings you're looking at are, but these ones with dinosaur bone in them are like, I don't know how much rings cost.
Well,
how much did you spend on? You know what? You don't have to answer that. You've been shopping for them though. What's a ring cost?
well, I'll just openly tell you what I spent on.
Not everybody likes saying things, so I didn't know if you would. But
well, I didn't go cheap on my ring. The only people that have a problem with saying how much they've spent on them is if they bought a cheap ring. Sometimes.
I was
going to
say sometimes people, or they spent a lot and don't want people to know that.
Right. But I got mine on a really good deal. It's like, I'm trying to think. I want to say it was close to a $4,000 ring, but I got it for like $2,900. So
okay.
It wasn't originally that much.
Yeah.
But you could customize it.
Gotcha.
So I went with instead of natural, I went with lab grown because I think they look better. And they're a diamond. They're more pure than a real diamond.
And there's no child slavery involved in that. So that's cool.
Exactly. Exactly. So they look better. And it was actually cheaper because I went with the lab grown, obviously.
Yeah.
By like a lot.
Yeah.
Like you cut the price in half, so that's why the ring was. But because I went with lab grown, I was able to put a bigger rock on it. So I asked her beforehand. I was like, "Do you care about whether they're natural or if they're lab grown?" And she was like, "I honestly prefer lab grown because they look better."
See, these are the types of conversations that people need. I think, I'm sorry, this is a weird tangent, but I've just listened to a lot of people talk about things. I feel like people don't have conversations enough with the people they want to spend their lives with about things that actually matter. They don't have those conversations until it's way too late and it causes a big problem.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't get people. Just have conversations. Be real. Be an open human.
Well, I get some people think, well, I can't have a conversation with her because I don't want her to know that I'm thinking about buying a ring. I get there's situations like that.
But also, don't have that conversation the month you're trying to buy a ring to propose. Like,
exactly.
We've been dating for like a year. Maybe I should just talk about this. Even if I don't plan to propose for another year, maybe it's just a thing to know. Or because I'm me and I just randomly, I will like see a wedding ring on the internet and just be like, ADHD says I should ask questions because I want to know your opinions on things. Because
exactly.
I don't think I'd want to be with somebody who wants a real diamond. Because of the implications of how you get the real diamonds.
Right.
I'm perfectly okay with this horrible thing happening because it gives me this really pretty thing on my finger.
Right. Well,
I don't like that.
You can go through companies that mine the diamond from the United States where child labor is illegal.
Okay, but I'm never spending that much on a ring. I don't care. I'm just not.
Right.
I still think in my fantasy dream world that doesn't exist, we'll go with the custom that the rings comes from that wasn't originally rings. Get you a sword. Really fancy ass sword.
Whereas if you regret your decision in a few months, you could just use the sword.
Yeah.
Win-win.
And then, like I said, I won't get a ring. I'm going to get a tattoo. But
the good thing about male rings is typically they're a hell of a lot more
Yeah.
cheaper than
So
female.
that's what I'm looking at, because like these ones with like dinosaur bone and like meteorite in them are like still a lot of money, but also like the just T-Rex one is like $420. That's not that bad in
Yeah.
my head,
I
but I
think the
also
one that
don't
we were
know
looking at
anything.
that was gold. I think the one we were looking at that was gold that I kind of liked was like, I think it was like $950 or something like that, because it did have diamonds in it. Like it had like, it was like an all gold band, and then it was like it had a bunch of inlays.
Yeah.
Like it looked like waves going through it, and then it had like 3 diamonds, like small diamonds. You know, which a lot of people are like, oh, men don't need to have diamonds on their hand.
Have
Some of
whatever the
them look
fuck you
good.
want. It's your
Yep.
ring. Wear whatever the fuck you want.
But I don't know. I just feel like if you can't sit down and have a conversation with your spouse that, hey, you know, what do you like for rings? If because you're worried about, you know, how they might react to the fact that you might be getting a ring, is, you
I
know, if
get
you're not,
not
you're
wanting
kind
them
of,
to know to a degree, because
yeah.
I get wanting it to be a surprise, but also
Mhm.
just have it as a normal conversation. You don't have to be like, yeah, I'm looking at rings. What do you want? Just be like, you know, this is because this is a thing that
Mhm.
most people have thought about a lot in their lives, how they want certain things to be. So like,
Right.
just ask them.
Right. They're expecting, like, if you're getting a ring, most of the time they already know that you're going to be the one. Otherwise, you wouldn't
Still be there.
probably,
Yeah,
well, you probably wouldn't be looking at getting a ring if you weren't sure if this person wanted to spend the rest of their life with you.
sure.
So, not always the case. There's a few cases where it's like going out on a limb, will you marry me kind of thing. But
Yeah.
um, usually, you know. So you can have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not gonna ruin anything. Just don't do it like right before you're about to do it, you know?
Yeah.
You
Give
gotta
it
let them. It's almost, if anything, it's almost better because
to
all she
have
has
this
done.
conversation way earlier and then let
Mhm,
them either stew on it and be waiting for it or totally forget.
mhm. That's the thing. Mine has not forgotten, and she knows there's a ring floating around out there, and it's just been every day. When you gonna propose? When you gonna propose? You know, and it's gotten to the point where it's like, well, you're never gonna propose anyway. You know,
Yeah. Start
so.
agreeing. Spend the
Mhm.
next week agreeing. Yeah, no, I won't.
Well, I've been doing the, well, every time you ask, it just pushes it out another couple months,
Nice.
you know.
Nice.
But
If it happens again before, just be like, well, you know, what are
mhm,
we at? Like December by now?
mhm, yeah, yeah,
But also, to me, I don't know if this is just me. In my head, like this trip that you have planned, I know it's planned around your birthday. But also,
mhm,
in my head, it just feels like this is a very obvious, like, this is probably going to be when this happens, you know? And that's not a
mhm.
bad thing to you, but like, if you plan a trip after this is known, they probably expect that to be where it happens.
Well, it's kind of funny because I threw her off because she watches what I write on the calendar
Nice.
in the house, and I
Nice.
wrote down in August to throw her off that her and I are taking a special trip to the mountains
Nice.
in August. That trip's not actually going to happen, but
That's fucked up.
she just knows that's when it's going
Nice.
to happen. So she's totally overlooked
The
this
nice thing is
weekend.
I travel a lot, so
Mhm,
it'll be easier for me.
mhm.
Yeah. Why was that Snapchat notification so loud?
I I don't know. Probably because it's sitting right next to the.
Maybe. That one was
Yeah.
loud. Got me.
I've been I've been putting the microphone in front of me just because I've noticed that in our videos in the past, like when I have it off to the side, my sound echoes off the wall, and you
Yeah.
get kind of like a like I'm standing in a tunnel kind of.
Yeah.
So trying to make it a little better.
Yeah.
Anyway, something tells me we have not talked about a thing
Not
that
even a little.
you planned on.
Not even a little. I've honestly kind of forgotten. Not actually. By the time this episode comes out, we're going to be very late to having this conversation, but it also doesn't matter. Because I just want your opinions on things. So.
Are you sure about that?
No. Actually, I'm a little terrified of it. Not really. This one you can't be stupid about. At least not really. Okay, you could, but I don't think you're this dumb. So there's an initiative going through the EU, because in the EU, unlike here where the people actually have a say in what the government does, we don't actually. That's a lie. The EU does, though. So the people have petitions. That if they get enough signatures, the actual government will sit down and look at them and, try to draft up a bill that makes sense for what the people want. Because, again, the people actually get a choice there. They don't just elect people to make choices for them. They get to have a voice.
Right.
So this initiative is called Stop Killing Games. And the entire point of Stop Killing Games is basically to force companies who make video games moving forward, and specifically like always online video games, it's not even to force them to keep them active, because that doesn't make sense. You can't legislate businesses being forced to lose money. That's not how that works. But basically what it does is says, if you want to kill this video game and you don't want to pay for servers anymore and you don't want to pay to support it anymore, you have to then hand over that code to either a different company or basically to the community to be able to keep it alive and keep it running. And then it falls to the community, and if no one actually gives a fuck, then who cares? But that way games don't just disappear, right? That is the basic premise. I'm going to see if I can read some more about it. But that is basically it. It wants to challenge the legality of publishers destroying games that they have sold, because the video games are sold as goods with no expiration dates, but then randomly expire and your money's just wasted. Now, I get the argument from the publisher perspective to a degree of, we didn't sell you a game. We sold you the license to a game. We get to decide when that ends. I still don't like that argument. It's really gross. But that is the premise behind it, is mostly just to, in some way, force them to not be able to just shut down the game. Planned obsolescence to games is bad. Basically, what I was saying is more of my strategy for how to keep them active. I will go over that fully in a second. But it just force game companies to not be able to just shut down their game and you can never play it again. Fuck you. Right? That's the basic point of the initiative. Well, there's this streamer who we've actually talked about a lot before, because a year ago I didn't hate him, but he's been a fucking moron for a year. I don't know what it is with some people finally getting some spotlight and then just deciding, I'm going to become a fucking useless idiot. But here we are. I have fame and money. Let me throw that in the toilet. It's a pretty crazy thing. But Pirate Software is best known as a streamer who streams the creation of his games, which is really cool. He also plays some games and whatever, but he talks about game development. He is a game developer. So he was speaking about Stop Killing Games. And was really weird. I gotta find the exact quotes, right? But when talking about the Stop Killing Games movement, he just completely started lying about what it does. I'm trying to find this exact fucking thing.
It's funny because when you said the stop killing game thing,
Oh,
without context, I was like, they're banning games that kill in them? That's
no,
dumb.
no. Well, I can think of a certain group that might want to, but hopefully that doesn't happen. I want to see the exact quotes here. I'm
But
struggling.
also, can we do that for like consoles?
No, because your console remains playable always and forever until it breaks. And
Right. But the part that bothers me
is that you have to buy a new one when they get better. That has to happen. Otherwise, every video game would look like 1993 Doom still, because you'd be forced to make sure it could run on previous generation hardware. You cannot do that forever. You can't. That's dumb. Please share your perspective on it, though.
I don't know. I just feel like it pisses me off when I buy especially like later in the generation, like, hey, I've decided to get a PS5 and I play it for 2 months, and then the PS6 comes out and the PS5 games kind of just, are non-existent, even though I just spent money on them.
Well, you can get that generation's games still. You cannot get the new generation of games. It's
right.
So
they stop, but you don't get any of the new games. But
part of that is your fault, because we know that the console generation normally lasts 5 to 7 years. If you choose to wait 5 years into the life cycle of a console to buy a console, you chose that. I get consoles cost money, but there is no reasonable expectation for everything new that comes out to work on the thing that you bought a decade ago. That's not a reasonable expectation. It's a hardware thing, and that's why it doesn't fall under the same thing. Is because your PS5 will continue to work until like something goes wrong with it. You can still play games. So that's why it doesn't fall under the same category. It can't get everything new, but you can't reasonably expect it to. That's like demanding that all cars can get all new features of new cars. That's not how that works. You bought the one that was the best at the time. It will not always be. And you can't reasonably expect it to be, because otherwise every video game would still look like Doom from the 90s, because we got to make sure these computers can play this. Nothing would ever advance.
That's why that's why I really kind of decided to go to PC.
Yeah.
Because I got tired of paying a bunch of money for this and every year the console gets more and more expensive, kind of like a phone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like the features on them are that much more advanced to validate charging, as much more as they did the previous generation. If you know what I mean? To me, it's like, oh, we're putting out a brand new phone, but it offers an extra gigabyte of space. Sure, I'm sure there's more to it, more perks,
Yes.
But that's why I went with a PC, because I felt like, no matter what games come out, what the PC does, it's going to last a lot longer than a console will. Plus, if you ever do have to, upgrade it to match the newer generation of games, you could just upgrade the parts in it.
Sure.
You don't have to replace
but that
the
also
whole
ends up
yard.
being more expensive than a new console most of the time. Like, there are trade-offs, and there's reasons why both are good and both are bad.
But I'd rather pay a little more money for something that's going to last 15 years and be able to play all the games in that 15 years and then some, versus a console that, sure, it's a little cheaper, but it's around for 5 or 6 years, and then you got to buy the next one, and then that one's there for 5 or 6 years, and then you got to buy the next one.
So I finally found the exact tweet from Pirate Software on Stop Killing Games, because he clicked on one of the objectives, and it says, this initiative calls to require publishers that sell or license video games to consumers in the European Union, or related features and assets sold for video games they operate, to leave said video games in a functional, playable state. He circled just that part. I'm going to continue reading the rest of the paragraph. Feels important to read things.
Right.
Specifically, the initiative seeks to prevent the remote disabling of video games by the publishers before providing reasonable means to continue functioning of said video games without the involvement from the side of the publisher. This initiative does not seek to require ownership of said video games, associated intellectual rights, or monetization rights. Neither does it expect the publisher to provide resources for the said video game once they discontinue it, while leaving it in a reasonably functional state. Which basically means, I just want to still be able to play the game. Nothing else has to matter. This is very important. Pirate Software has a incredibly long tweet. Says, been reading through all the posts against me over my stance on Stop Killing Games' initiative, which his stance seems to be, it's bad. Because it's he thinks that the goals are to kill live service games or force all games to have a single player mold. That's not what it is at all, but whatever. So tons of people are calling me a liar and saying that I misrepresented the initiative. Also, lots of content creators dogpiling this to get their pound of flesh. No, you're just a major creator who's majorly wrong about a thing, and I'm sorry you don't like when people push back because you think you're the smartest guy in the room. You're probably not. It's okay, though. He said, let's dig into what I actually did and said. I'm reading his tweet, so if you don't like what I say, remember, it's him saying it. Let's dig into what I actually said. I put out 2 videos on August 6th, 2024 and August 7th, 2024. These videos are linked at the bottom of this post. Many people have not watched them and are just calling me a liar or attacking my character. Give the videos a watch, read the initiative itself, make a conclusion that you aren't copy-pasting from social media. All right, dude. First of all, fuck you. Stop assuming that everyone that disagrees with you is just disagreeing because they saw other people do it. Maybe you're just wrong.
Right.
I hate those type of responses. I do like this part, though. Monetization on these videos is disabled, so this is not some ploy to increase revenue. I just care about this subject and have rightful concerns as a person working in this space. I do want to point out that he very actively works on a live service video game, so I think that's what he's concerned about. So I go through what an initiative is, how it's not a law, and how it's a starting point for the entire process. True. This helps people understand that this is to start the conversation for a change and can adapt later. I then go through the initiative and some of its goals from the official page for it. I then talk about the repercussions of them should they be implemented. As written, all games need to be left in a functional, playable state. Next, I bring up the crew and walk through the business around it, the sequels, and the size of the player base at the time of sunset. I did this because it was called out in the initiative as an example of publishers destroying a game. The Crew was a racing game made by EA that got completely shut down and can never be played again. I also harshly critiqued Ross Scott's wording in his videos because they disparage the lawmaking process and lawmakers, which doesn't benefit players or this movement in any way. That is kind of fair, but also not. I'm allowed to criticize politicians in almost like every country. Almost. Not all, but almost all. And in the European Union, you're allowed to criticize your lawmakers. So, talk about potential scenarios where a studio could be abused if the initiative was implemented as written. It adds new paths for abuse that need to be discussed to help hone this initiative into something that would do good without doing harm. I then explained that very few people in the game development space can actually discuss this from the other side due to fear of losing their jobs. The studio is much safer in silent dissent than when they are discussing the drawbacks of your ideals. The recent attacks on our games is obvious evidence of this. And this is because people were attacking every game he's ever worked on, which I don't think is kind of cool because, like, there are other people who worked on those games. You can not like pirate software, but you don't have to attack everything surrounding him because that just hurts people that aren't him. If you want to make a difference to a guy whose job is entirely making content, stop watching his content. That is the correct answer. Don't hate watch so you can get a gotcha moment. Just make them become irrelevant. That is the only, if you actually want somebody to stop having a platform, actually take the platform away. Don't give them one to boost it. I know that's what I'm doing here, but just because I think his opinion on this is really stupid doesn't mean I think that his platform shouldn't exist. Doesn't seem like he's entirely a piece of shit human, just seems like he has a dumbass opinion. This isn't, there's levels. Right. So his main issue with the initiative is that it's broad in its approach to change the industry, and the exact language of the initiative, not the FAQ, requests that all games stay in a functional playable state. Don't know why I want to say functionable. This is not feasible for all games at a technical level and could potentially restrict developers from making online-only games like MMOs, MOBAs, and user-generated content games in the future. That list is not exhaustive, and it doesn't matter if you do or don't like those kinds of games. Fair. Though, to be fair with MMOs, MOBAs, and that kind of thing, you can, to be in a functional, playable state, I almost did it again. You don't even have to open the servers up to the community to continue to have. You just have to not shut the game down to the point where you can't even play LAN versions of it. Because technically, as written, that is all that would have to be required because it's still functional and playable for people. Yeah, you might not be able to get into giant online servers, but that's not what is being requested here. This is one of those things where the anger at that is you adding words that don't exist. If they did exist, that's a bigger problem. But sometimes when MMOs get shut down, you can't even play a LAN version of them. Mm-hmm. That's not okay. That's the problem here.
Well, yeah, that's what, honestly, that's what pissed me off about, say, Blackout.
Yeah.
I loved Blackout. Played a shit ton of Blackout. Probably played more Blackout than any other game I've played. Got to the end of Blackout, heard about Warzone, was excited about Warzone because I thought it would be a lot like Blackout. Warzone drops, play a month of Warzone. All I wanted to do was go back to Blackout. Go back to play Blackout, and you can't even hardly load into a game. They've moved it to I don't know what kind of servers because you get into a game, you play for 4 seconds, crash, not work.
Well,
and
that's something that this
about
won't
hackers
fix because that's still how it would go. Because you can't require them to continue working on the game. It is still functional and playable. The reason it takes so long to get into a game is because no one's playing it. Blackout isn't technically protected, at least in its current state, by this. It would exist the same way, even if this law was passed. Or even if this initiative became a law that got passed. This isn't the law.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
They basically turned Blackout into shit so that it was forcing people to go to Warzone. And, when I went back to Blackout, there was still a lot of people trying to play Blackout.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't, and then the hacking was terrible too. You couldn't get into one lobby without some crazy ass hacker because nobody gives a shit about the game anymore as far as, online goes, I don't know. And I get not wanting to pay for anti-cheats for a game that you've moved on from.
Yep.
But still sucked.
So, continuing on this is effectively this has the potential to restrict future developers from making kick-ass experiences because it locks a weight on their designs. Not really. Even though this is an initiative that can change in the future, this goal is core to the mission and deeply disruptive, so it needs to be called out. No, it needs to exist. To clear up some disinformation about my character. Yeah, so he then goes on to defend himself. Remember, he only defended his point for a paragraph here. Then he goes on to defend himself about leaving a AAA game studio in 2016 because he hates how the industry is now and prefer indie entirely. I don't like Blizzard, or I would have stayed working there. That's why I quit. That's the point. Fuck AAA and what many studios have turned games into. Valid. Outside of that, no, I am not financially supported by live service games. He does make a single-player RPG and is the director of strategy for Off-Brand Games, which does make a live service game, but he was paid minimum wage at that job because he just wanted to help. Because the studio, I think, was initially started by Ludwig, so it was just like gamers making games, and this is just a gamer who is also a developer who could just like consult on things, so he didn't want to get paid a lot. Again, I'm totally down for shit talking people where it's deserved, but also only where it's deserved.
Right. Just because one person has one shit opinion doesn't mean you have to completely hate their whole character. Right. No, I get it. There are
depends
some
on the opinion,
wild
actually.
Opinions out there.
There are certain opinions that would make me hate your whole character.
Right, exactly.
But this isn't exactly one of them. But then moving on from that, to further this, the games we're publishing are all playable offline anyways because their gameplay loops are not based on interplayer interaction. Not all games are like this, and not all games can be like this. Fair. No, so he continues to admit that he's doubling down on thinking this is a bad idea, which, fine, you can think that. I just think you are still misunderstanding what the point is. Because, at least, unless maybe I am, because that's possible. I'm not fucking perfect. But, like, the entire point is... Sorry, I'm reading another tweet and seeing if it matters. It's because it would take effort to leave things in a functional, playable state. It's not a simple hurdle to overcome. Yeah, but other games have done it in the past and can continue to. Or you could... I think the bigger issue is stop letting companies to actively go out of their way to keep games alive. Especially... So, I can't remember exactly what the game is called. But there was a game that did this where another group created their own set of servers and their own way to continue playing the game, but to do so, you had to give this new program access to your Steam library to prove that you owned this game still, which is the same thing that happened this might have been 2 or 3 years ago now. My perception of time is fucked. But do you remember when they released that new, I think it was called Plutonium, which allowed you to play Black Ops 2, but through community-hosted servers that completely removed hackers and did all of the things you'd want it to do. And then they did the same thing with Black Ops 3 because it was not in a... Black Ops 3 is not just like, oh, there's a lot of hackers. It is in a completely unsafe-to-use position. Like, you cannot boot that game up online, especially on PC. On console, you're probably fine. But on PC, you cannot boot that game up online. You just can't. So Plutonium allowed you to play these online again safely, and it checked your Steam library to make sure that you owned a copy of the game. Activision sent cease and desists and shut them down. Said you can't exist. You still got your money. That makes no fucking sense. Allow people in the community to do things like that and keep your game alive. Nobody is requiring you to buy server space and keep it forever, because that doesn't make sense, because that's just a way to force companies to lose money, and you can't regulate companies to lose money. That's not how that works.
That reminds me of, like, you see those movies about, a wealthy person taking a bite out of a cheeseburger and then throwing it, into a dumpster, and then witnessing somebody that's like homeless and starving grab that burger out of the dumpster, take a bite, and then they walk over and say, "Hey, you can't have that burger," and taking the burger away from them and then throwing it in the river.
Right.
That's the same idea.
What the fuck is the point?
You're just being a dick at this point.
Yeah, like, that's it. And, like, I do understand that there are edge cases for games where maybe it's not possible to keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
Or in a playable state to the same degree at which they were at their peak. Totally understand that. That's not what this argument is. It's a baseline for things. There have always been edge cases that have to be disputed later in everything that has ever existed in all of time.
Right.
We can't stop protecting consumers from things because of one edge case that could possibly happen sometime. That's not how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Because that edge case will be figured out later. But, like, to me, there's very clear, fairly easy ways to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like how it's going. But I hate it. And I want Stop Killing Games to exist. It totally should.
Right. If it wasn't a problem, I don't think the community wouldn't have come together as a whole to support it.
Yeah.
So,
and it's one of those things where, like, I get being afraid for certain types of games, but also I don't. Because, again, just figure out a way to make them work on LAN. That's it. Mm-hmm. Which most games functionally have anyways. So don't just...
Right.
The biggest thing is, like, the crew got killed, could not be purchased again, and you can't even get onto the game and play it solo anymore at all, even if you own a disc. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't exist when it could be played offline before. It's not that hard. Like, EA has a lot of problems. I can still get on and play Madden all the time. Now, you can't access servers, so you can't play online with other people. Okay, right. I understand that. Like, I do. Like, whatever.
I'm pretty sure I could still get on, like, the first Battlefield and play that.
Yeah, EA is such a weird company.
Right.
Yeah. But he just seems off the plot. But the more important thing is Stop Killing Games is now at, like, 1.4 million signatures. So it will at least be getting looked at in the EU, which is very good. Because as we've seen with a lot of other things, when the US fails to do its job, which it does most of the time, especially considering like monopolies and stuff and anti-consumer, antitrust things. Because weirdly, the US hasn't done anything really focusing on antitrust stuff since, like, the late 90s, early 2000s with Microsoft. Because if they went after Microsoft for that, I'm going to be honest, they should be going after Apple and Google currently. But, like, as we've seen with Apple specifically, the EU made a law and it forces the company to change as a whole. Because it becomes too expensive to make an EU specific thing. So you just fix everything. Like with iPhones and having USB-C now. The EU made a law and Apple went, all right, guess we got to change everything now because it's too expensive to do it the other way. So this is good for everybody if the EU can figure it out. Shout out to the EU for constantly being the...
Well, the United States can't get anything done anymore because all we do is fucking hate each other, so...
Well, That's not.
If one side supports one thing, the other side has to hate it, and vice versa. The only time they seem to be able to get together is when it fucking screws over us,
Yeah.
like TikTok. Oh, let's get together.
That's officially gone. By the way, it will be gone at least. March of next year, TikTok shuts down. They've already announced it. They are creating the most dystopian thing I've ever heard of, and it is genuinely a TikTok that can only be accessed in America by Americans. I'm sorry. Is this not the exact thing you want to avoid? Because the information will only be coming from America. You get no outside perspectives. Isn't this the things we don't like about communist countries like China and Russia? Isn't that what we dislike about dictatorships? Weird.
See that?
It's weird that we want that here. It's weird that we want that now.
Yeah, that's the point, though. They want to get rid of our access to information so they can control us.
I know.
And
we have people rooting for it because, well, what if some other country could get my information off the internet? They already have it. You lost already. You fucking idiot.
It's all under the guise that you're.
It's all under the guise of security.
Danger.
There is no security. If you've used the internet, you're unsecure. You've lost.
Right.
Now you just play defense. You already threw the interception. Now make the tackle, you idiot.
I don't know. Make a longer password. You'll be fine.
And then, pay attention. When places get hacked, change your password.
Right. Also,
turn on two-factor authentication. Turn on two-factor authentication and not fucking text message two-factor, because it's way too easy to duplicate a SIM. Do a real authenticator app, and preferably not one that is connected to if all of your emails and stuff all your accounts are through Google. Don't use Google's authenticator. Get a different authenticator. Make things harder, because no matter what you do, you're not secure. You can get hacked, but the more steps and the harder you make it, the less likely it is to happen, because there's somebody out there who wasn't smart.
Also, be very careful with the information you openly share online.
Mm-hmm.
And also, be careful scanning QR codes.
Yep.
And also, just don't click on any old link or pop-up that pops up on something that you're not aware of or
and then
actively searching for.
When you get an email about stuff, my favorite strategy with that is if I get an email from YouTube about needing information, I don't click on the links in the email. I go to the website myself and try to access it, and go to the website that it should be myself. I don't type the same link in. I just go to my YouTube dashboard and then go to the area where all this information that they're trying to get would be, and see if it gives me, once I'm in, the directive to add it, because that is just a good way to do things. Also, when it comes to phone calls, if you get a call claiming to be the hospital talking about payment stuff, hang up. Call them back yourself. Not the same number. Don't click call back on that number. Look up the number to whatever, the hospital, the bank, whatever, and call them yourself and be like, hey, do I need to do this thing? Then when they go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, cool. You didn't just lose all your money.
Right. One, it's funny because they will get as close as they can to a website to trick you.
Yep.
So the difference might be instead of yahoo.com or youtube.com, it's youtube.com, and that comma really looks like a period if you're not paying attention.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And click on it, and it allows all access to your device.
So be careful out there, because it's hard if you're tech literate. And if
I only have to go through cyber training every 2 weeks for the military.
Shit changes all the time. People go crazy. I just stay up on it because I'm intrigued.
But
it's bad.
Do you put up a barrier? Some nerd out there is figuring out how to crack that barrier.
Aw, poor puppy. There's a video of a really tiny puppy in the back seat, right after people picked up their groceries. So there's a rotisserie chicken in this box. And it's one of the boxes with a clear lid, and he's just trying to lick and bite the box. He's too small to actually tear at it, so he's just like kind of trying, but he's all little and can't do anything about it. It's cute. A cute video. Cute video. Top 10. Yeah. So that was Stop Killing Games, and then internet safety brief, I guess. We're briefing. I should actually, before this podcast is done, make sure the other one is uploaded so I don't confuse them and accidentally upload two of the same podcast.
What's a good idea?
Yeah, so we're not going to end for a little bit because I got to make sure that we're okay. But that's all right. This was an actually good episode. We only have those like once every 50 or something. So like, shouts out to us.
Every once in a while, it's slightly less scuffed.
Every once in a while is a good show. Not often. Very rarely, if we're honest. As I've said before, there's no real purpose for Scuffed to exist anymore, other than it is genuinely just the like hour a week me and Wonder get to talk to each other.
Right. I'm pretty sure we would go months without talking if we didn't have the podcast.
We did before. When I switched schools and we lived in the same town. We still lived less than a mile from each other. We didn't talk for like 2 years, though. Except for like on each other's
That's not
birthday.
like we pissed each other off or something like that.
It was just like, I'm busy, you're busy. All right, deuces. Ridiculous.
We had to go live a little life before we came back.
I guess. Something like that. That one is going to be episode 282, right? Yeah. This is episode 283. The fuck did we talk about in the last one? I need a title. Because this one's just going to be episode 283. Stop killing games. Pretty simple here. So we talked about... God, what the fuck did we talk about?
I know we talked a lot about like LeBron James and
yeah, we spent a little bit of time on that. You're right. I'm just trying to figure out where the majority of that episode came from, because that was not most of it. That was like maybe 7 minutes.
Bro, I don't know. I watch an episode thinking that I know what's going on in the episode, and it's like, oh shit, I totally forgot we talked about that.
You go back and watch these sometimes?
They just because by the time it comes out for me, it's been 4 days. So
that's fair. I'm
technically rewatching.
I don't, and that is just because I hate my own voice, so I don't want to hear it. I have never gone back and watched any of my own videos, like ever, except for when we've done videos where the entire video is going back and watching old videos. That's it.
Right.
So
you could shit all over the fact that you don't like the way you sound.
Yeah. Hate the way I sound, and then complain about things that I've learned how to do better now. And it's like, look at this fucking idiot. He doesn't know shit. Which,
as if you're a completely different person.
Give it 3 years, and I will be saying that about this episode of the podcast. Look at that fucking idiot. He doesn't know shit. Because nobody ever knows shit.
You should have had that belt on the left side instead of his right side.
Right, maybe. Maybe it would have looked better.
Technically, it'd be your left, and
no, this is my left.
It should have been on his left side instead of his right. So technically, it's vice versa for you.
Oh, okay.
So it should have been on your right
sure,
side.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I've picked up.
Yeah, good.
It took a second. There was a lot. After you saying you had Chinese food today, I just... You know what? I'm making the title of 282 just Wonder was late for no reason. Because that is what we talked about. Yep. That did happen.
That's fair.
And that is true.
That tracks.
Yeah. Because the reason you were late didn't happen, therefore it was for no reason.
Right.
Incredible. You gotta do stuff sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
This show just exists. That's it. We just be doing stuff.
I have to play a college football game before 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you were saying tonight still. I was like, oh my God.
No. But I am 11-0 with Georgia Tech.
Going into your last game, you might make the college football playoff?
I'm ranked number 4.
Playoff? You talking about playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so you are going to make the playoff. If you choose not to suck.
I would hope so.
I don't like the way this is working. Okay. I didn't think I selected the right file and I panicked, so I had to stop and restart.
Oh. Panicking. Yeah. You're not panicking. I'm panicking. No.
No, you're panicking. No.
Panic and Skywalker at your service.
Yep. Let's see. There was more AI stuff that happened that freaks me out. Like a court ruled that it is not against copyright to just let full books be uploaded to the AI for it to train on. So now it gets to. And it was because, well, it would never spit out even full chapters of the books. It never would. And then immediately within 5 minutes, multiple people got the entire Harry Potter series spit out by an AI entirely.
Right.
Because shocker. I hate it here, dude. Also, so I was, dating apps exist. And they have, all the steps you can take to verify your profile that you're a real person.
Uh-huh.
There was a verified profile today that I was looking at, and I was like, man, something is wrong with these pictures. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck? Why do these not look right? Right? Then I noticed in one picture, they're holding their phone, and they have 5 fingers. And then in the next picture, they only have 3. I was like, oh, so somehow they tricked the verification thing with AI photos. Incredible. We're so fucked.
You're just the asshole because that person was born with 5 fingers and then blew them
lost
off
2.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Knife
that
accident.
Would be crazy. Then I saw a thing where it's officially 70% of all internet traffic is AI now.
Yeah.
Dead internet theory is so correct now. The original dead internet theory says in 2016, none of your interactions online have been with other humans. It's all been AI. At this point, it might be. If you look in the comments section on anything, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, it's only AI.
I know.
Or idiots.
I know.
It's it's only AI though. Everything is AI now, and that sucks. Yeah. It sucks. I'm upset. Yep. I don't know if I'm talking to real people. You might not even be real. You might be AI. I don't know.
Damn.
Can't see you in purpose. In purpose? I can't see you in purpose.
I think you're AI. You can't even talk.
I think that, you know what? That's fair.
You talk like AI.
Just wait until I start putting M dashes in my actual speech. Incredible. I don't like the world we live in. I hate current year. Because I'm sure that will still be true no matter when you listen to this. I hate current year.
Fair enough.
Doesn't seem like it's getting better anytime soon.
Does not seem so, no.
I don't know. I refreshed Twitter, and the first post I see is just somebody saying some shit that I don't think you want to post on the internet. It's just straight up, how the fuck do you even access the dark web? Well, you're on a list now.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The FBI goes, God, they're making it easy for us nowadays.
How the fuck do you even access the dark web is crazy. Oh, God. Easy, switch off all the lights when browsing. True. How do I access the dark web? I turned on dark mode on Opera. It's pretty nice. Pretty dark over here. What the fuck? Okay. This is the internet's the internet is. That's it.
Mm-hmm. It exists. It exists.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
But also fortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But also unfortunately. But also trying to think if there was anything else I had prepped. We are at the point where we can easily end. I'm just trying to remember. Oh,
right.
So I went to, this is going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks late to when the thing happened, but I went to Fan Expo, the convention here. Well, I only went for 1 day and I paid for 4.
That bad, huh?
So it was actually really kind of cool, but also it wasn't really like, it didn't feel like a convention almost at all. So you couldn't do any of the meet and greets without paying extra money. I don't fucking have any extra money. All of the little booths set up were just people selling things. And let me tell you, there was a lot of cool shit. But I don't have any money. So kind of pointless. Like, it was just like, here's a bunch of ways to spend money. And it's like, well, I don't have any. So what the fuck is the point of being here? It's
just a big ass money grab. Yeah.
And like, I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. Because like a lot of the businesses that were there are like really cool, like businesses that I actually think should exist. You know what I think is going to be really cool that this AI craze is going to drive?
Huh.
People wanting real products that were made by real people. And this entire, I think there's going to be a world where you're going to start spending more money on things because you don't want it to be AI bullshit slop. But then you're paying more because you're going to like be, you know, I want a cutting board made, right?
Right.
Just say a cutting board. You pay somebody to do it, and then you have them film the process of them making it. Because AI is not good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So then, because it can't continuously recreate the thing, right? It fucks it up. So then, that's the way to drive stuff forward, and everything becomes small businesses again, because you can't trust the corporations because everything's AI. That's the one good thing that's going to come out of this is there's going to be real people who make real things again.
Right.
And more people are going to buy them because they don't want the shitty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one good thing that could come out of this.
Right.
Yeah. But also, this is the worst convention I've ever been to in terms of people. So many people who I swear to God don't know what a shower is. Holy fuck. Like,
yeah,
TwitchCon wasn't that bad. There was a couple people, the one you went to, TwitchCon wasn't that bad. There was a couple people. Last year, there were like none, at least that I came across. I'm sure there were some in the building, but like the ratio wasn't that bad. Fan Expo was like every other person, I swear to God.
Yeah, we had a lady at Walmart today help us out, and it was rough.
Yeah.
Pretty rough. It's bad enough that I noticed it, but it's really bad for my girlfriend who's a little more sensitive to that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I get it. You've probably been there all day, but also you literally work at a store that has an abundance of deodorant. So
yeah. Oh, I saw people got really mad at Patrick Mahomes. He was at a golf tournament and some dad asked for an autograph for his kid. Mahomes said no. People are mad at Mahomes. Just take the time, sign the autograph for the kid. Odds are, because the dad was asking, it wasn't an autograph for the kid. It's the bullshit that
It's
people
for him.
do. Not just for him, it's for him to sell.
Right.
I stand by. If you want a special moment, why are you only asking for an autograph?
Uh-huh.
This isn't, anytime pre-90s before. You have a camera with you. The picture is worth way more to you if you want a special moment. Now, yes, when I go to like a meet and greet at TwitchCon and meet a streamer, do I get a picture and have them like sign my badge? Sure. Totally different, because you're not just doing that thing. I'm not saying autographs are bad. I'm saying it's really weird to like weaponize your kids.
You can exploit it. That's the problem.
Yep. And I think a lot of athletes or celebrities or whatever can kind of tell who wants what.
Right.
And maybe they're wrong sometimes, but also they're not required to give you shit. So fuck off.
Right.
If they say
don't have
no,
an obligation just because you like them.
Yep. Ridiculous. There's also a rating from PFF of the top 10 defensive lines in football, or a rating of all of them, but the specifics are in the top 10. And the Texans are put at number 4 because they have 2 really good edge rushers, but their interior sucks, and they didn't really do anything to add to it. Put them at 4. The Vikings are put at 16 because last year their edges were really good, but their interior wasn't that good. So if Dallas Turner can, develop further in his second season, the Vikings could own a top edge group in the league, with him and Pro Bowler Jonathan Grenard and Pro Bowler Andrew Van Ginkel, which is the exact same words they used for Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, that these 2 Pro Bowlers, and then there's this other edge. But they also added all these guys on the interior to make it better. They're at 16. How the fuck does the defensive line that was already better last year rank lower after they got better? How the fuck does that make any sense?
Right. Because Vikings.
Yeah. Like, I get Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson are better edge rushers, but also...
I'm sure the Vikings are rated higher than the Bills, so... Probably
not. Ever since the moment I retweeted that, it's been a lie. The Rockies have been playing fun baseball lately despite their record. Not anymore. I'm not having any fun here.
You should just comment underneath that post. Never mind.
Actually, I'm going to go repost it again. Never mind.
There you go.
Good call. Good call.
That's funny. Just call yourself out. Never mind. All right. I got to work tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well,
and I have a fire meeting.
We got 2 done, and you don't have to worry about it next week. Let's go.
Yeah. Yay.
All right. Well, I guess without further ado, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.